Well, for a while I've been without my main computer, and I am definitely not computer orientated at all. Whatever I know works. I don't learn anything new at all. I don't want to change. I don't want to learn any new stuff. It's terrible, really. I can't even spell the word app. I don't know what it does. I don't know what they do. Fill your phone up with icons and things. So I've got Mike coming round, I think. He's going to try and set me up. I'm having trouble, folks. I really am having trouble. I've had to drive my computer, you know, do they call it the tower, the big blocky thing, up to Lancashire. And I went up and back in the same day twice with 8 hours driving. So that's 16 hours of driving, bucket load of fuel, because the gentleman up there built me my computer. It was what they call a bespoke builder. Sorry about this attire, but it's been horrible weather out there. It's on the change big time. That's why I'm inside. And I've had it crash once before, and because it's a bespoke one, I can't just take it off anywhere. He's the one who put it together, and he's really, really helpful. So I took it all the way up there, and I'm hoping I can recover it. He says the motherboard's gone, the diddly-dum's gone, the that's gone, the RAID's, whatever. So I'm hoping it's all here. So I've had to go and buy, it makes me sound cool, this doesn't, a 5-port gigabit Ethernet, or is it Ethernet? Extension thing, that can do, so I can run 2 computers, the editing one and the other one, and then a double, triple extension, whatever the thing, and then a longer Ethernet cable, whatever. It's just doing my head in. The only thing I know, I've still got my fly swap. So what we've done is I've got to come into the real world, and Mike's in the process of sorting me out. Is it a mini Mac, a Mac Mini, Mini Me, Mini Mac Me, whatever they are? So we're going to have that one. But the tower's huge. This thing is tiny. That's all it is. Previously, it was 50 times bigger than that. I used to store it down there. I'm thinking I'll move from here, the printer was over here, move the printer in the corner, put a screen there, and I thought, no, I'm blocking my window out, aren't I? But I've got PowerPoints. But then I thought, you stupid child, I want to do scanning, guys, because I've got, look, 20,000 slides. That's without black and whites. Obviously can't scan them all. I've got my light box. That can go in here. I've used this before, you see what it's like? It's like that, and you put a slide over the top. You get the slide over the light. It's only a makeshift one. If I go in on it, you'll be able to see. And there you can see. Then I use a jeweler's eyeglass to check clarity on the slide. So I'm set there. I found one of my old antique tables. I thought I'll put it to the side. And look, you've seen where I filmed before. You see my little corner here. I've got Tarpenter 135 up there. So I'm going to keep this desk, and I was going to put maybe the tower, what do you think? Put the tower up here on the corner. Then I've got keyboard there. A bit of a little, it slides a bit on the wood. I don't know what to do. Anybody got any ideas on that? Should I put some, have I got it upside down? I don't know. Maybe some blue tack under the corners so I can work the mouse there. That's my slide scanner, which Phil, who did the, what do they call it, recovery on the tower. I can keep the tower, hopefully it's all going to fit. I can keep the tower down here. But the problem being, the internal guts have all been updated, and well, not even updated, changed. He put stuff in there to save it for me. Recover, hopefully, everything there. Take everything I want from there, put it on an XT box, which are these things. Put it on one of these things, which I think is about, I don't know, 2 terabytes or something like that. Whether a terabyte is, I don't know, but it's quite a lot of space. Put stuff onto there, and then I can convert it from there over to the Mini Mac, Mini Me, Mini whatever. So that's the general work. So I'm waiting for Mike to come around and see if we can configure this to work it from this side. And then I can whiz around here and go from editing the films over there to come in over here somehow. I'm going to set the screen up, probably have a scan on that side, if all these plugs and adapters work. Run the power from over there. Apparently all of these power. I don't need this to go online. I don't need the scanner to go online, because all I've got on here is all my old files and information from properties and stuff. My life is on there. That has to go over to the Mini Mac via an XT box, and then I can just use this as a scanner, because Phil said once it goes next time round there are no more parts for it. There is nothing. So this really, the tower here is like a giant XT box really, and I'm just going to move stuff onto it and then off it. So I don't need to go online, which means I don't need that other box. I don't need this Ethernet cable, whatever, and I can't run it all the way around here. Apparently what I have to do is make sure the tower is close enough with a thing called a dongle, a little chippy thing, so that the keyboard will work. So listen guys, Mike's due round in a minute. Whether he'll be able to cast any extra information out there for you, I don't know. But that's going to be a general thing I'm going to be looking at today. It's horrible out there. We've got a week of really naff weather. It's annoying because I wanted to go barbel fishing, out in the boat fishing, beach fishing. It's all done, it's all gone, Looking at the end of summer now. I just hope we get a bit of decent autumn weather come through. I'm not looking forward to going through all the slides because it takes me back for when I was doing lots of still photography. But this is just a sort of filler thing. I thought you might be interested to know what I get up to in between. I couldn't get a better mouse mat than that, but somebody might come up with an idea. So let's wait for Mike to come and see if he can get that computer working. Meanwhile, I'll work on this corner. And of course I do get that technology has to change. Unfortunately, my brain at my age doesn't change at the same speed the technology changes. I'm sure some of you out there feel the same. But talking of technology, it seems weird to me now that we shell out for the filming years ago when we first started. Ooh, stuff like this. The real deal, the proper job which they use on TV. But this one, I've got trouble with the focusing on it now. It won't focus, so I don't use it, but I'm going to have to sell it on actually. Well, other than that, other than the focusing, it's all working. We used to use this one many times, many films made with this one. But man alive, that's heavy. It's a shame really, all that money gone waste really. And now we use this, a GoPro, perhaps not like this one, Mike's cast off one, broken, a bit of foam taped underneath there, and a bit of electrical tape over the top, trying to keep the wind noise out of it, all that. The trouble is, guys, when you edit it, if you don't have this wind muff, which is a proper one, you get small ones, various ones for these, I know. If you have somebody talking at this level, and you have the wind in the background, you think, I'll go in the software, I'll reduce the wind noise. Well, on my software anyway, if I reduce the wind noise down, then you'll barely hear me talking at all. My voice comes down on the same level. So it's a sort of no-win situation. But isn't it amazing? Everybody uses these little cameras now, various types out there. Perhaps not broken like this with one leg and bits of tape and stuff like that. So I'm looking forward in a way to getting in the real world. And if this scanner actually does get picked up by their big tower and I can get stuff off it, the slides, got a few off, but of course the slides I've copied off and digitised are on the lost computer, as it were, the recovered one. So I'm hoping to do a load more, and then I'll put some more mid-weekers up for you, and then break it up between that and maybe my random outdoors country old time stuff, which I really enjoy doing. Really enjoy doing more than fishing, I have to tell you at the moment. It's just getting that information of old stuff and country stuff before it's lost forever. I don't know anybody else who's doing it. I don't think there's a fishing show out there, is it? It does the random wide variety of stuff, but I enjoy doing it. We don't get great views, I appreciate that, but the people we do get on the comments page seem to appreciate seeing all this old stuff. I guess it takes us all back. Oh, the weather is horrific. Come on, Mike, I want to get cracking. Well, finally, Mike came round and got me sorted on the little computery thingy, Mac, whatever it is there. It works. Kept the original screen, altered some wiring and cables all around there. So I'm going to keep, we realise, I don't need to go on the internet, because I don't have my edit suite on the internet at all, because I don't want diseases on it, so it's totally offline. I can make my scanning area my scanning suite, doesn't that, lads? It sounds so cool, doesn't it? Then I've got to learn to do these things. Hearts. Oh, miss you, love you. Oh dear, I have some laughs in here and I'm on my own. Imagine what I'd like if I had mates around. Oh God, yeah, I've only got you guys. So, I'll show you what I've done over here. I've already done a little bit of scanning, make sure it works. I did 16 hours of driving twice up and down to Lancashire to get it set up. But it's done now, so fingers crossed I can get you guys some interesting but older stuff. Check it out. So, I've been going through my paper, I've got all my old tagging, shark tagging stuff there. And I've got my slides. That's a stand-up £1,000 shark, that one. So, here's what we've done. You see this? Little pads here so I don't get mixed up with my slides. So these are 35mm slides. This is what we used to take years and years and years ago. Well, it doesn't seem years ago to me. And then I'm going to put my slide scanner over here. And if I plug this in, lots of cables, lots of plugs. Hopefully not putting a lot of power. So there's a slide scanner. I'll put the slides into, switch it on ready. I put the slides into this, which is a slide holder, and then as you can see, I don't look at them like this, I'm just showing you this. Look, there's the slides, so I can check the slides out here. Then they go into this, and hopefully I can work on it from here, over on the screen there. I'll put the slides in the mounting tray here, pop it down, and I over push it sometimes, so I've got to push it in till it just clicks. There we go. Then it goes to this setting here. It does colour negative, black and white, negative, colour positive, black and white. Positive, and I'm on colour positive. I go next. So what it's going to do then, it eats the frame holder and it scans them. It scans them to check it. I mean, you've got to look at the loading bar and realise how old this is. But there's no other way that I know of to do it. And there, I've got my pictures. You can go up to here, just show you, just out of interest. I put dust removal on, reduce grain, alter image correction. These I can flip, so rotate like that. That's it, I need to rotate on the bottom there. More on that shark later. Go into the first one. Come down to next. Various, 3 pixels, 5 pixels, save at highest resolution and scan. Then I have to put a file name in, press save. Away it goes. Does all its scanning there. It's adjusting the focus at the moment. It's a funny little machine, isn't it? But it does the job. And so in between that, I can get some old slides. I can drop them on here, go through them. That's a Mako shark, that one. You can't see it very well, of course you can't. I can see it, but you guys won't. Yeah, I can go in a bit. So those slides are really old. I don't know what that is, the 1980s I think. More Mako sharks. But anyhow, by the by, I can do that all the time. This is working. Then it processes the data. And do you want to continue? Obviously I go in there, I go continue, highlight the next frame. It's a good looking guy on there. Next, scan, and away we go again. So while this little machine is doing its thing, we'll find out what else we can get for you guys. I'm sure something else will come up, and hopefully, given a lot of work, evening wise, I've got work to do during the day. I can't do any editing, anything like that, usually during the day. I try and keep away from it. I'll try and get some films up for you with some old slides and some old interesting stuff that many of you I know won't have seen because, you know, they are 40, 50-year-old slides, some of them.
Ese hombre está mal, es muy adicto a lo que diga la gente. Rico de money, pero pobre de su mind. Eso es lo que dicen, ¿no? Quiere todo eso, quiere comprar lo que el dinero no le da. Qué mala vida la que tienes, con tantos bajos y placeres. Se llena lista de mujeres y dices que estás mal, y dices que estás mal. Ahora te explico. No muestro porque yo quiero tampoco pa' joder. En la vida un ganador si sabe perder. Lo que nunca tuve de chico quiero tener. Y ahora que lo tengo todo se siente bien víctima. Es que no es mi culpa que no tenga nada. Trabaja de noche hasta madrugar. Poder mostrarles que sí es capaz. Y si eres una víctima, vaya pa' su casa, deje de molestar. Eres como un pez perdido en el mar. Muestro porque quiero, no es necesidad. La vida la que tienes, con tantos bajos y placeres. Se llena lista de mujeres y dices que estás mal, y dices que estás mal. Estoy muy consciente de lo que el coro quiere, pero en mi cabeza quiero más, más. Si soy exitoso atraigo mujeres, es por lo que soy, no por la plata. Ninguna, óigame ninguna, que me amó.
Well, there you go, guys. There's a few sample pictures there for you. That's the sort of thing that I can run off, scan pictures. I've done somewhere 42 countries, 40 countries I've been in and out of, popping in and out over the years. If that's something that interests you, let me know in the comments page and I can put something together. I can do some talks with you, give you a bit of history of what I used to do years ago when I was travelling around doing the travel writing and the photojournalism. Certainly got the films to back it up. If you are interested in that, let us know in the comments page. Now, how it's going to amuse you guys. We're going from the stunningly beautiful Seychelles to Somerset. Check it out. So it's down into the Somerset countryside, and what great views you do get down there. I mean, Mike used to live down there outside Yeovil, or in Yeovil, and it was quite good. We wanted to visit him. You can see all this space out there. So I'm down there to check on a competition. It was for hedge laying, and these guys were competing against each other to do the hedge laying in the sort of hazel traditional fashion, where they would cut it down, not right in half, but you know, they've got to get it just right. They've just got to cut through everything by the last little bit, and they leave a sliver of limb, I'm going to call it, which they buckle over, and then all the sap, I guess, rises up, and that turns into a horizontal hedge. But where it's grown vertically, as you can see, this chap, he's made the cut. He's then pushing it down. Now this one's slightly different. It's at 45-degree angle, as you can see. I'll let him do his cutting. All very delicate. This is a national competition. It's being checked by judges behind him. There's a row of them checking everything. So years ago we've been just done with I call it a hatchet, a cleaver, whatever you want to call it, a metal axe implement, as it were. Now he doesn't like that one. I don't know if he's cut it too far through. And that goes over here, look, onto the heap. I'm not quite sure what they do with the heap. There's a row of guys down there, as you can see. You can have another go at it. And you can see the vertical stakes there as well. So they've got to cut the right size and length of vertical supports, if you like, that they can weave it in and out of. And then it grows up from there. So you're not, even though you've cut all this down, you put a cut, watch. I don't know if he's going to keep this one or not. Yeah, he's going to keep this one by the look of it. Just want to check. where it's going to go through. Will he be able to weave it in and out there? Or is he just going to lose it? Now, this one's at 45 degrees, but I have seen Mike do it at horizontal. That's the sort of traditional way. Whether there are two different ways, somebody who does this hazel coppicing, is that what they call it? Not coppicing, is it coppicing? It's hedge making, I call it. That'll give you a better angle at it that you can see there. And then they use, I'm going to call it a chopper, a cleaver. Somebody tell us what they call these things. I've got one that I use for my kindling splitting. And the leftovers they can use as, I think that's the right length and diameter for making hazel hurdles. That's the ones you see for horse racing when they go over the sticks, as they say. Very, very windy day. Now this guy's using like a pruning saw just to take the end off. They're very sharp. I wouldn't want to be doing it quite that vigorously aggressive because those are very, very sharp saws. And he's going to thread it in amongst the others. There's the stakes for their vertical supports that they presumably cut out that hedge. Now this chap's actually using what I call a full-on axe, so you see to cut the split in it. Now look how long. He's actually not just going 45 degrees, he's running that split down to weaken it, but he doesn't chop right through. He just bends it over. As you can see, look, it doesn't snap. And that is the reason that it grows again, is because the sap and all the nutrients and stuff they get from the soil will run up through that tiny little sliver of a cut that's always left. And I find that bizarre how it works. Look at this gentleman's trying to get the finest of cuts there. But that cut vertically down must be about 10 inches, I would say, at least 10 inches. There's the judges and guys, old country guys, checking it all out, making sure who's going to win. Everything has to be done absolutely perfectly. You can see in the background there all the people watching. It is an event, as I say, it's a national competition. Very, very windy that day, very windy. There you can see that sort of 45-degree slope on the hedge there. They have to select particular types. Some they cut out for some reason best known to themselves, I don't know why, and some they keep. Now that one's got lots of branches coming out of it. And he's going to take the whole thing? I think he is. I don't think that's a fold over one. Chainsaw's down. It's going over on the heap, but it's because he wants those straight ones to bend down to actually form the hedge. It's one of those sort of dying arts that people there's chaps going through his vertical supports there. Got to pick the ones he wants. You can see the height of the hedge up there. At least, what, 12 feet? More than twice the size of that gentleman there. So I'm guessing 12, 14 feet high. And they can make a thicker hedge. And by having it all weaved together like this, it can also become what I call a stock fence. You know, to keep animals in there, sheep in there, that type of livestock farming. Of course, it tidies the whole farm up as well. But look at that tiny hair-like piece that's left at the bottom of the cut. And an angle cut on the left-hand piece, I'm assuming so the rain runs off the edge and doesn't actually rot out the live of the bottom. Somebody who's in the hedge lane, tell us, am I right in thinking now that the angle cut there is to stop rainwater sitting on top? And these other bits, nothing is wasted. I call them bean sticks, but they obviously have uses for them. Years ago, it would all be manual, wouldn't have the use of the chainsaw, but this is a competition where they're obviously allowed to do this. It's quite fun, but I think you'll find it's quite tiring. Another one for the rubbish heap. I wonder what they make with the rubbish heap one. Now there, look. So you couldn't get a long thin cut, I don't think, with a chainsaw like that. I may be wrong. I think they have to use an axe or some form of splitting implement to get that long, slim cut. Maybe the chainsaw is to cut the rubbish out. Now this one's horizontal, that's not 45 degrees, that's a horizontal lay, and that's the traditional way I've always seen it. There, look, that must be 10 inches long, that sliver cut. Very, very neat. And this is not in the competition, this is up my end of Hampshire, so totally other end of Somerset. This one I did just to show people, look, there's a hedge. Now this one I think is a hawthorn hedge, I think. So there's a high hedge there which has been trimmed at the top. But as I pan way down to the left, I mean that's a sort of, I call it a general country hedge, isn't it really? But of course animals could get through that, whiz by. Look just here, this one is actually a work of art. So they got the vertical supports, they got the horizontal supports there, and they've got a weaving sort of locking effect at the top. Now whether this is different from hazel, somebody tell me. I'm thinking this might be hawthorn. I think, I'm not sure. I don't think this one's a hazel hedge. But the same principle applies, long, very long, slender cuts there, with just a tiny piece hanging on, and this is clever. Look how they've gone around the outside of the end stake in a sort of loop knot, bending the hazel round there. And if you look at the tops, just there, very slight slope on the top of the vertical support. Again, I think so that the water doesn't collect on there and it doesn't rot out so quick. It is pencil straight. And they leave the sort of rubbish on the inside, so I'm figuring that's a form of stock fence. Tell me if I'm right, I'm no farmer, but just looking at why would they do that, or do they come along and burn all that later, I don't know. And this will actually grow up, hard as it is to believe. Look at that split. There's nothing you would think that would stop that from dying, but it doesn't. The nutrients go up that slope. I guess that's why they've got to be sort of very, very sloped. If it's horizontal, it won't go up. So I think Mike was telling me that. And an angle cut there on the top piece, you can see. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's a hazel, those nasty spikes on it. Good luck doing that one. And there, look at the shoots coming through already. This one was done in the springtime, and you can see it's been little shoots there grown already. I just thought that might be something a bit different for you guys to look at. Perfect, a picture, a pleasure to the eye, especially for the farmer who sees it. So now I'm off again. I'm up in, above London somewhere. Look at that tractor, huge tracks on it. So this, I went up, different area, totally different area. I've gone off on a ramble again, a little ramble. That Ransom's machine in the background is going to fire up in any minute now. And there we go, it's run by the tractor there with a monstrous big long belt, and I'm calling it a threshing machine. Somebody do tell me, because I couldn't exactly walk over the fence and ask them without implements. About 5-6 people working it. So I'm calling it, they are Ransoms. Some haymaking, does it split the corn kernels away, separate the seed and just leave the sheaves left for thatching or straw? What, I don't know. Somebody tell me. I'll just let this run on because it's sort of pretty self-explanatory. Now they just changed the board. I think they got some problems there. But there's a man up there feeding it from the top. Not exactly a job I'd want if you fall in there. You'd end up as a 6-foot corn dolly, wouldn't you? Dead, but you'd be a corn dolly. And then why is the belt so long? Now this gentleman's tying it up in bundles, presumably what they did years ago. But there's 3 people down on the bottom, and I think there's 2 guys on the top as well. So it's all tied up. Is it for thatching? Somebody tell us. Is it just a way of doing it for animal bedding? I think there's 1 or 2 guys at the top. Now, I go into an old house now. Where else am I going? Oh, let's have a look at this one. I would say that would be a plaster and lath ceiling with the cracks in it. And there's the old bed with the bed warming pan, which used to be brass or copper. Copper was a better warming one. They put coals in there, put it in the bed to warm it up. Not permanently, otherwise you'll burn yourself. And you know, a cosy little room. Notice how wide the floorboards are. And that's another way of heating the bed. Stone hot water bottle, you boil it up on the range downstairs, put your boiling water in there and put that in the bed, generally that way up, so it makes a tunnel and warms up the eye down on top as well, the bedspread. Ancient building. And the old doors. And the juniors' room. Nobody in there, is there?
It's entirely composed of, the walls are composed of like a sort of lava and plaster, but done with a particular sort of white earth, which comes from in and around a place called Hadnam, which is in Buckinghamshire border. And this is why this is known as Hadnam.
There's another one of these old wagons. That one's locked up. You see there by the old wheels. And look at the brake just here. Work on a lever system just pushing on the rim of the wheel. So that's quite interesting. And there's another winding mechanism at the back. I'm not sure what that does. I'll show you around here. There's a winding mechanism there, so I don't know what that does. Something under there. Don't think that's the brake, maybe it is. Gone back to glasses, guys. As soon as I put sunglasses on, cloud came over. It's bad luck, isn't it? Well, there's a shed over here. It looks like a bike shed. Are they what they call the old first battery lights there, or would they have been the carbide ones? Really old bikes. I can remember those push mowers. Used those as a kid. Unfortunately for my granddad. Hard work did the job. And some old tools there. That's an old one, look, with all the screws, nails, like we've all got. I've got a garage like that, but now of course it's not wood that you keep all your tools in, it's probably bits of plastic. That's a weird one. And a nice old bottle there, all clipped down. So see guys, I just thought it would be interesting seeing some of these things. It's a long winter and it's something different, and if I don't film these things, and let's say these places eventually don't exist, they're all gone. The buildings might fall down, nobody wants to invest in them anymore, don't get enough tourists, who knows. Oh, I see a plane taking off because the wheels are down, so there is indeed over that way a light aircraft taking off type place. This is a pretty one. This is a pretty spot here. Look at that. That is pretty. Imagine having that down on the coast with a beachfront view. Well, you wouldn't get beachfront view because that would get blasted by the southwesterly gales, but one can only dream. I'm going to see if there's anybody in. If we're allowed to go in, I don't know. The saying is always ask forgiveness rather than permission. Oh yes, I've got to get one of these. It is a can with a bucket or something in there, is it? So that's your gentleman's ablution area. One assumes that's the ladies. I'll check there's nobody in there. So I think the term is outside privy. If the door falls off the hinges, it's not so privy, is it? Interesting to see the lead channels coming down to shoot the water down off there. Is that to keep it away from the mortar of the chimney? I don't know. Another workshop. Shoe shop by the look of it. Maybe this was for shoe repairs, because I recognise the implements there for turning upside down, putting on the inside of it and rehealing. There's one on the bench over there. See if I can get the long extender in there. There we go. And look down there's a stove for heating. Just goes up the chimney. Those lights up there, it looks like a gas light to me, on and off. And I'm so old, it's God's honest truth, I can remember at Fleet Station, we used to live right next door to it, watching the man and helping him go up the pole and lighting Fleet railway stations gas lamps. And I used to play on them when I was about six years old, mid 1950s, on the old gas lights. It's just terrifyingly old, isn't it, that I used to play on gas lights. People say, what's a gas light? Well, they've got sheepdogs going on over there, and there's going to be music here, which hopefully we'll be allowed to see. Well, thanks for watching this little filler one. This is just a filler film. Brings you up to date on what I'm doing or trying to do all on my own. Yes, it's just me doing this. Anyway, it amuses me, you know that, guys. So thanks for watching it. Let us know in the comments page if you want some more of these. I'm going to call them, I'll make them a sort of a monologue one where I'm actually talking and I can interpose some of those pictures, still pictures on the top, to give you an idea, a flavour of what it used to be like when I did do full-time photojournalism and fishing, writing and photography and all that business. See you in the next one. Fingers crossed the weather gets better.